We don't adjudicate marriage certificates. So what I am telling you is I am not going to adjudicate citizenship claims from the podium. I'm not going to adjudicate a citizenship case.
Preponderance of evidence.
I'm not going to adjudicate.
Did Mr. Jun09 provide you?
Can you let me finish before you interrupt me, please? That's how we do it in this briefing room.
That tense exchange at the State Department with Deputy Spokeswoman Marie Harf, all over the Sudanese Christian mother sentenced to death because of her religion. She is married to a U.S. citizen. So her 2 children, including her newborn, born in prison and shown here, should hold American citizenship because of their father. So why isn't the White House doing more to secure her release and that of her children? President Obama, despite promises, continues to leave the post of Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom vacant since the resignation of the woman who held that post back in October. It's a post the State Department admits could be key in making a difference in cases like Miriam Ibrahim's, a point Harf acknowledged.
Of course, they could help with it, but there are a number of people working on this very hard every single day.
Is there any update on the
No
nomination?
update on that.
Okay. Syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, and author of What Works, Cal Thomas joins us now to talk about it. Cal, always good to see you.
Thank you, Shannon. Same here.
All right, so we have a number of these cases. Miriam Ibrahim's is the one that's getting a lot of attention now, but we've got Saeed Abedini in Iran, Kenneth Bey in North Korea, and many, many others. And this key State Department post that would be a voice normally in these cases, we continue to ask the White House, the State Department, and we keep hearing it's coming, but it still remains vacant.
Presidential power means a lot in these kinds of situations. I remember Jimmy Carter, to his great credit, put human rights front and center in his administration, and he was able to get the Baptist pastor Georgy Vins out of the Soviet Union. We had to trade 2 Soviet spies for him, but we managed to get him out. He was very consistent on this issue. President Obama has not been. I looked up this morning the Christian website called Open Doors, and they have a list of the top 11 countries that are persecuting Christians the most. Number 1, of course, as you might expect, would be North Korea, but the other 10 are all Arab Muslim nations. Now, I don't know, since the president's first year in office speech in Cairo, reaching out to the Muslim world, saying that he would even negotiate with Iran, and now there are reports today on the Washington Post where these negotiations over Iran's nuclear program might continue again. Why isn't he speaking out on this persecuted minority in the Arab world? It is a win-win for him. There's no downside to this.
Well, and this post would be aimed at helping religious minorities around the globe, wherever they are and whatever groups that they are. If they're being persecuted, America then has a voice, this ambassador who then speaks out. And the position is aimed at helping Christians, Muslim, Jews,
right.
Whoever it is. Do you think that this administration feels it's a very difficult balance to strike in picking this person and making sure that they can be pleasing to all religious ideas and factions? Is that possible?
Well, I think it is, because freedom of thought and freedom of religion is something that is basic not only to the American way of life, but to much of the rest. We practice it here, the pluralism, the diversity. You go through neighborhoods, you see synagogues, you see churches of various denominations, you see mosques now, you see even atheist groups with their
they have chaplains.
Yeah, they have chaplains now. So I don't think there's a downside to this. But I think one of the problems, Shannon, is that especially the Christian community isn't united as our Jewish friends were during the attempts to get the refuseniks out of the Soviet Union. You had a group called the National Conference on Soviet Jewry that was very successful in keeping this issue front and center and pressuring various presidents to continue speaking on this. A president has sway. He has power. He has the ability to make this issue front and center. And not to say anything, I think, gives aid and comfort to those who would persecute religious minorities, as you say, around the world.
Well, and you mentioned Iran and the fact that there are discussions that we're going back into talks with them over their nuclear program. I know that the wife of Pastor Saeed Abedini, who's been held there, he's been beaten, he's been tortured. We have questions about his medical care. He is a U.S. citizen being held by Iran. She and the family were crushed. I mean, she has tried to approach the president, approach the Secretary of State with her own letters, with her own pleas, trying to get face-to-face with them. I know they were devastated that when the last deal with Iran was made, that this gentleman was never part of the discussion. Apparently, we were told after the fact, no, his name didn't come up.
I don't see what the upside of this is. What do we gain as a country by not speaking out in favor of these things? I mean, you go back to biblical times. You look at Paul the Apostle, who was about to be flogged by a Roman centurion, and he said, "Is it right for you to flog a Roman citizen?" All of a sudden said, way, I didn't know you were a Roman citizen, and he didn't get flogged. I think speaking out with power on these things and with conviction does make a difference. You've got this pastor in Iran that has been beaten and been imprisoned. You've got this latest situation in North Korea where a Bible-carrying, apparently a pastor, has been detained now. The United States has moral power in the world. We have greater moral power sometimes than military power. And if we won't use that moral power, then we cede the immoral power to our enemies.
And there are plenty of them.
Plenty of them.
Cal Thomas, always good to see you.
Thank you,
And all the
Shannon.
best with the book, too.
Thank you very much.